Good morning. It's 10:30, and it's time to call to order the November 17th, 2010 meeting of the Oklahoma City Airport Trust. The first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the October 27th, 2010 Airport City Trust meeting.
Second.
A motion is second. Please cast your votes, and it is approved. Do we have a director's report?
No, sir, not this morning. Thank you.
Then moving on, Will Rogers World Airport.
Under Will Rogers, request approval for item A to adopt a resolution approving a 5-year pricing schedule agreement for an optical Ethernet metropolitan area network. That is a high-speed redundant fiber link that connects Will Rogers World Airport to the City of Oklahoma City downtown buildings. Will be used for disaster recovery in case our primary system gets cut for some reason or fails. This is utilized in an AT&T contract, a state contract, and we'd like to approve the pricing schedule. This does also give us an opportunity to reduce the cost of over $13,000 of 2 T1 lines that we were previously using as a backup. Item B is to approve change order number 3 to refurbish the hangar 8 and 9 doors for Mike Monroney Aeronautical Center, adding $10,958 and 10 days to the project. Item C, approve amendment number 1 to the professional services agreement with Garver Engineers, LLC, for the FAA project to install precision approach path indicators and also to construct a perimeter road around the runway 13 safety area, adding $1,000 for testing. Item D, approve supplement number 1 to the contract with JetBridge Technology Incorporated, extending the term of their contract for 1 year, commencing January 23, 2011, for inspection and maintenance services for our passenger loading bridges. That's all the items for Will Rogers.
Move to accept.
Motion to accept and approve. Second. Please cast your votes. And it is accepted and approved. General items.
I'd like approval for item A to receive the delinquent accounts receivable report, the construction project status report, and the budget to actual report. Item B is to approve the revisions to the minimum standards for aeronautical activities for the leasing of land and facilities at Oklahoma City airports. Item C is approve amendment number 2 to the contract with Oklahoma Roofing and Sheet Metal Incorporated. This is for the annual roof repairs and maintenance contract for all 3 city airports, renewing the contract for $200,000 or 365 days, whichever occurs first. Item D, approve amendment 2 to the contract with Cherokee Painting, LLC, for the contract to do annual painting and associated maintenance at the 3 city airports, also renewing the contract for $200,000 or 365 days, whichever occurs first. And last, approve the professional services agreement between the Oklahoma City Airport Trust and McAfee and Taft, PC, for professional legal services involving environmental issues on Oklahoma City Trust-operated airports. That concludes all the items under general.
Move approval.
We have a motion to approve. We have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please cast your votes. And they are approved under general. Lease agreements.
Only 2 lease agreements this morning. A is to approve a ground services agreement with Premier Hospitality Group, LLC, doing business as Holiday Inn Oklahoma City Airport for a courtesy shuttle operation through February 28th of 2011. Item B is approving the lease agreement with Pogue Services, LLC, for an individual aircraft hangar site at Clarence E. Page Airport, commencing January 1, 2011. That's all in leases.
We have a motion to accept. We have a second. Any discussion? Please cast your votes. And they are accepted. Item 7 is an item to move into executive session. Would you like to make a comment on that? And I'd like to entertain a motion to move it to the end of the docket to go into executive session.
Just very briefly before we take the vote, I wanted to make note of a change with one of the participants in the session. Mr. Gerald Hilshire is not Hillshire. It's pronounced. It's correctly spelled Hilsher, so I want to reflect that also in the minutes that we'll approve next month.
Mr. Chairman, I move we move that item to the end of the docket.
Motion and a second to go into executive session at the end of the docket. Please cast your votes, and it's so ordered. Item 8.
Move approval.
We have a motion to approve item 8. Any questions? Seeing none, cast your votes. And it is approved. And now we have the authority to go into executive session, Francis? We are adjourned to executive session. We shall return. We have returned from executive session. Are there any comments from any of the trustees?
I have one, Mr. Chairman, and I talked to Mark about this the other day, and I think I assumed that most of the trustees got the same letter I did from Mr. Oberstar. Terry said he hadn't gotten one, but just for the record, the Representative Oberstar was suggesting in a letter that we look at the private part of screening under TSA guidelines, and Mark indicated that you are researching some of the airports that are doing that.
Yes, I've asked the TSA for some information on the program, and we're in between FSB's Federal Security Directors now. We have an acting that's been here for a while, but I've asked for him to come up and visit with me. And I'm also asked for some information from the American Association of Airport Executives, which has a liaison that helps a lot in working with TSA and airports on programs, whether it's registered travel or anything. And I'm waiting on that information. We also, and I've asked for a copy of the law that is referred to in the letter so that we can research the law and also from a liability standpoint. I also am going to be talking to at least a couple of the airports that were involved in the pilot program. I believe there were 5 of them. I certainly want to talk to Kansas City just to see what their pros and cons have been. So we're aware of the interest, and we will do everything we can to bring back to you all a report on what we find out.
Okay. Very good.
Any other comments from trustees? Seeing none, comments from staff? Seeing none, are there any citizens that have signed up or want to be heard? We are